Hello, everybody. Welcome to Society at 322. We're back. Break. Louise went to Mexico, got a little tan.
Looks like it. Yeah.
I got burnt. And we got a great episode here. We're here with Downtown Kamloops, and I couldn't be more excited for this. It's a little bit more on the businessy side, but really at the end of the day, you know, businesses really help the world go around in a lot of ways. And with COVID, that's important. And I am here today with people that help facilitate in a major way the success of businesses downtown. Before I go, I'm Jesse Faubert, of course. Sorry I didn't introduce myself.
I am Luis Gomez, and want to clarify, I did not go to Mexico.
It's true.
I want to clarify because in this time it's something.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've had some tequila
yes,
and tried to pretend like we're in Mexico, but
did sleep in the sun for a couple hours there.
yes, you are looking quite tanned, I must say.
Enjoying the weather here.
It has been nice. And today's guests, we have the lovely Sam and the man Carl over here. Welcome. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me back.
So if you, see, you can tell we're working out the kinks here. We've got Jeremy on social media. He's going to do a great job today. I'm feeling a really great vibe from him today. He's got all the energy in the world. And then Richie Kwan, he is living in summertime. He's got the tank top, looking jacked. He worked out once over here, and he's walking around like a jacked man. Okay, back to our lovely guests, Sam and Carl. Tell the people who you are, what you do for Downtown Kamloops.
I'm Samantha, and I handle events and marketing for Downtown Kamloops.
You're underselling yourself. You do so much more. Come on, come clean with everybody. You do so much more for downtown. And I'm Carl DeSantis. I'm the executive director for Downtown Kamloops, and I have the pleasure of working daily with Samantha and Jesse, one of our board members. And I just want to say, every time I come in here, I'm full of surprises. I mean, it's so relaxed. It's fun. You guys clearly have a good time in here. Maybe not Mexico, but perhaps tequila I saw earlier, and that whole raccoon thing running around here eating your cables. A lot of fun.
We try to create an atmosphere that is productive. We clock ridiculous hours, so you kind of have to have that environment going on.
Well, that's good.
I appreciate you feeling that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, so thanks for making it that way.
Too bad we're out of beer. We drank this place dry not too long ago, or else hopefully next time you're in, Carl, you're gonna have to have a beer.
I'm gonna fill out a
beverage.
comment at your suggestion box by the door.
Okay. The thing hardly gets used these days, so it could be good. So that's great. So Downtown Kamloops, maybe you guys can speak on what does Downtown Kamloops do? Because I know I brought it up with Richie, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a Downtown Kamloops." Because a lot of people, I think, feel when they see Downtown Kamloops, it's almost like a representation, but there are people behind that brand.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. So tell us about it.
Yeah. In a long story short, we are essentially behind the scenes, responsible for connecting people to downtown. And by people, it's businesses, it's developers, it's consumers, it's all things downtown. When things happen, they just happen, whether it's an event, a parade, a sidewalk sale, marketing initiatives. But there's actually a team coordinating all of these efforts, and that's our team, Downtown Kamloops, and much of what you see is the result of Samantha's efforts, and maybe you can talk about
efforts.
that. It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot about community, Downtown Kamloops. It's funny when I joined Downtown Kamloops and I used to tell my friends that I work with Downtown Kamloops, they'll be like, "Yeah, but where in Downtown Kamloops
Right.
do you work?" And I had to explain that Downtown Kamloops is so much more. It's a brand that we've created. It's a business improvement association, and what it's responsible for is just like events that we do. Like Carl mentioned, the sidewalk sales, the Santa Parade, which is a huge event that draws
No
a lot
doubt.
of people
Yeah.
to Kamloops.
Yeah.
Amongst so many other things.
Yeah, and all of these things that we're talking about, they all have one thing in common, and that's showcasing our downtown as a place to do business.
Right.
Business, whether it's you and I going out for a beer because you don't have any here tonight, or a restaurant, or retailers, whether we want to go to a doctor, some other service opportunity, whether you're buying a business, starting a business, you're a developer, and we're trying to attract the downtown to development, new development, which we've successfully done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really interesting things going on, and it's all about showcasing our downtown, and we got a really good job. It's a lot of fun.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So I do hear mad clicking in the background. Richie, it's okay. Things are rolling. So yeah, I know it's all good. We're rolling. It's all good. That's the beauty of live right here. So I'm just gonna have to ad lib all the ads that we've been paid to put into this. That's totally cool. So speaking of development, if there's one thing that's really jumped out at me is the fact that development is still happening. It
is. You know, we're really fortunate in that these major developers and developments have got significant confidence in our downtown as a place to do business. Not as strong today, but they're not building today. They're building today for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Hive project, what an exciting project that is. That isn't just about the development and all the new construction. That is about attracting new business downtown. It's about sustaining business downtown, and new organizations that will employ people, that will pay taxes and contribute to the health of our downtown community. You know, I'm looking out your window right now and I see a construction site just over the rooftop there.
Yep.
And that's a mixed use commercial on the bottom and residential on top. There are other projects in the works. There are other conversations going on. Not my story to tell today, but again, it's a very exciting time. There are challenges, of course, there are right now, but fortunately, we see a lot of confidence from the developers and business leaders wanting to get their roots in our community.
Yeah. And there's no shortage of like. When we're talking money in downtown, that's a lot of money going into these places. So those decisions aren't made lightly.
There are years in the making in many cases, and a lot of planning. And you know, when you look at the years in the making and a lot of money, just prior to the Performing Arts Center, prior to the pandemic hitting, we were on the heels, almost at the finish line for a decision for the Performing Arts Center.
Yep.
Center for the Performing Arts.
Yep.
And, you know, the timing didn't work out. It's unfortunate, but that would have been a major contributing factor for our downtown, for tourism, for the entire city. It would have physically been here. But going ahead, you know, I'm still the optimist, and I see a conversation down the road. Won't be immediate, but down the road we'll have that conversation again, and hopefully we'll reignite that flame.
Absolutely. And I would say, sorry, Louise, I know you're jumping in, but chomping at the bit over here. I feel like a lot of the new developments have also factored in the fact that the Performing Arts Center was on the table, right? Because I feel like a lot of the Hive in particular, like there's going to be really substantial businesses moving into that space who kind of lean on the idea that there is performing arts, that arts are a part of the downtown core, that new things are happening on that side, because it does take arts to bring new people into the city. Absolutely. In a lot of ways.
And downtown, there's evidence already that we're a business community, we're a professional community, we're an arts community, museum, the arts, we've already been established, and we're a science community with the Big Little Science Center moving.
No doubt,
yeah. So
Old Valley
we're
Village.
really diverse that way, and people really appreciate that. Our locals do, our visitors, our tourists really appreciate that.
Cool.
You know, and something that I see while I working at a hotel is like, what all these businesses are gonna bring business to our hotel, to different hotels downtown. They are gonna need conference rooms. They're gonna need all those banquet halls, because you're bringing more people, bringing all those businesses, bringing that kind of money moving businesses that are maybe a smaller office in here that was a Toronto, a Vancouver office, and they're moving it here. They're gonna have those exec moving and coming, and it improves the tourism, because the way that happens, then you need more restaurants, and after those more restaurants, you need more nightlife. And I know you can see and that'll improve the tourism economy as well in Kamloops.
Absolutely, and it's all of those things that you're talking about. You're also going to see densification on the residential side. People are going to want to eat, live, play all downtown, walking distance, and many do already. But with the new construction projects, we're enhancing capacity throughout the downtown area that way.
Exactly.
And what an exciting time to be part of this whole downtown phenomenon. Navigating through these challenges as we are, but looking ahead and past these challenges, there are numerous projects that are going to reignite our downtown. We're happy to be part of it, and we look forward to doing our part in whatever way we can. And I just can't speak enough about it. I want to talk about the affordability side. I heard you talking about all of these.
Affordability, yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Just compare, just for a moment, Toronto, Alberta, anywhere, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. I'm not here to bash any community. Good on every one of them. Different market. We offer the same or comparable resources, services, and opportunities, more opportunity, at a much more affordable rate.
Yep.
Period. Full stop. And that alone should attract business leaders from outside of our community to come in here and explore everything that we've got to offer. I
can't speak to that even more. Well, I will speak to that even more because I had gone to school out east. It was in London. Spent a lot of time in Toronto. Came back home, started my personal training business. I was out of my parents' garage. I was doing that, and a lot of friends of mine were like, "You are built for bigger cities," and immediately I knew that like Kamloops, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, there's so much more opportunity and so much less risk because you don't have $10,000, $15,000 a month rent for at least our studio space. You're not bleeding out at such a high rate that you have to sacrifice creativity, trial and error. Like I've been able to explore a lot more pre-COVID, of course, but nothing has changed, right? So I couldn't be more on board with what you're saying in that Kamloops has so much to offer, and we're talking a totally different city here. Like it is cheaper to operate and exist. That doesn't necessarily always mean that business is easier, but there's a little bit more ability to take risks and try things that maybe you wouldn't be able to do in a bigger market.
Yeah, and there are some positive stories as well. If you go back to the beginning of the pandemic, we had a business open in downtown Crooked Crown.
Crooked Crown.
You did a webinar with us and with Emily from Crooked Crown.
Yeah.
You can see that she's flourished after that. The
She
community
has.
really supports Kamloops businesses. You don't see that sense in bigger communities. You can walk into a store and they know you by name. You go to the same place again, and then you go to the store right next to it, and there's a whole community that generated from that.
You know who else you know by name? Council. A small community, you get to know the mayor, councillors, and I'm going to say, like, I really like to pick on and tease the city in many times, but one thing that I've really appreciated is the relationships that we've got with each of the councillors and the mayor, and their desire to work collaboratively with us and other stakeholders to advance downtown, Kamloops, of course, but downtown. Let's not kid ourselves. This is the heart of the city, and they really make an effort, an obvious effort, to contribute to advancing our downtown, and I really do appreciate their support that way.
That is something. We've had a couple of the councillors on the last election base. We had them come through and kind of get their platform and all that. And very rarely would you have that open access, which means there's a lot of communication with the community as a whole. Like, Kathy, she's kind of, what is her role? The liaison?
City liaison on our board.
And how, like, she is so active online. She's in almost every conversation that she's brought into, even if she doesn't choose to be brought into it. She's there, and she's
absolutely